So I'm training in the Jim Schmitz's Sports Palace gym, and this is where we are currently because the other place is being refurbished. So it's a bit of a makeshift gym, and this is Jim.
Hello.
So just for the first part of the interview, we're going to talk about Jim's personal experience in weightlifting. So how long have you been weightlifting, Jim?
Well, I began in 1960. It was June 27th. I remember that date over the years. Anyway, so I've been doing it for 49 years, and I started lifting weights just to build myself up to be better to play sports. It wasn't to be a weightlifter. It was better. I wanted to build myself up so I could be better at sports, and it worked. But then I also discovered Olympic-style weightlifting, which I found was what I really wanted to do, and eventually got to try to see how good I could be in weightlifting when I was in my early 20s, but found out I wasn't good enough, so I became a coach.
And what was good enough? What did you want to achieve?
My best lift, my best snatch was 125, and my best clean and jerk was 157.5, and I weighed 90 kilos.
Okay. And just from your own weightlifting perspective as a coach, what's the thing you enjoy the most about coaching as opposed to competing?
Well, what I enjoy about coaching is being able to help somebody achieve their goal. And I always tell people I undercoach. I try to find the person's weakness and work on that rather than, I don't try to say too much. I just try to find where I can help a person fill their gap. And so that's what I've been able to do with lots of lifters is if they've got the ability, but there's missing something, well, I'm going to work on what they're missing and try to develop that.
Okay, and what would some of these common traits be that lifters be missing?
Well, for example, Ken Patero is a classic example. He was the first really strong man I trained. He set all the records at the press at 229 kilos and clean and jerk at 229 kilos and snatch 175, which were all American records at that time.
He was the first person to clean jerk 500, wasn't he? Ahead of Alexiev?
No. Alexiev and Serge Redding, I believe, were before him.
Okay.
But he was in the top 5 or so.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He kept cleaning it, but missing the jerk.
Okay.
And so when he and I hooked up, because he had no sense to his training, and so I helped him organize his training.
Oh, he's more instinctive.
He was instinctive, and so he would go too heavy. He would go too heavy, or he'd overload on one thing, and he worked his strengths. Like he could do a high pull with almost over 300 kilos. He could do a high pull to his chest.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
So things like that. So then he'd be tired.
So was it his weakness that you worked on? Was his structuring and
organizing the training, and then with another lifter, Dan Cantori, who was another one, he had a great training plan method, but he didn't compete well because he would be. So I helped him prepare so that he'd be rested and ready on that day of the competition. He'd be either overtrained or undertrained for competition. Mm-hmm. So, and this is where I've helped most of my lifters is better preparing for competition. And I try to stay, because everyone gets emotional. They all want to lift more than they've done before. And I have always stayed practical.
Yeah.
And so even though
try and stay objective.
Yeah. And so that's what lifters do what I call wishful weightlifting. They wish they could lift that weight. Yeah. Well, I could take with weights that I know they can do. Yeah. And they know that if I give them that kind of, now with my many years of a very high percentage success rate in competition, people know that if I think they can make that weight, then they think they can make that weight. Because I won't send a person out for a weight they have no chance for. There's no point in it. I've seen that happen many times. I've never seen anybody make a weight they've had no chance for.
My coach Harry Leach has directly plagiarised that phrase, wishful weightlifting. So you like that?
Yeah, he emailed me after. I'm going to send him an email after this workout.
Okay.
Give him a report how he did.
And who, in your opinion, is the best coach that you have ever?
Well, Ivan Abajev is without a doubt the best coach. Now unfortunately, the Bulgarians have a terrible track record with the forbidden medicine, and so so he's got the most successes and also got the most positives.
Okay.
But still, he's a great coach. I mean, that's a whole other subject about
Well, what do you think it was that made him a great coach? Was it his technical knowledge, or was it
his technical knowledge of how to train, how to select an athlete, how to train an athlete, and how to prepare them for the competition to do well? Because the Bulgarians, when he was in their prime, their peak, they were always making almost all their attempts.
Yeah. And when you're saying what Abajev's strengths were, do you think that there are many modern coaches with that plethora of strengths, or do you think that each coach would be missing individual traits?
No, I think other really top coaches who have consistent success over the long years are, and of course he's also had some troubles. The Bulgarian coach Even Ivanov.
Yeah, he's with Croatia now, I think.
Yeah, he's with Croatia, and he's had tremendous success wherever he goes. Of course, he eventually sometimes has some problems.
Yeah.
But still, and then Jakub Kristov of Greece has done a great job. Whoever's ever coaching the Koreans is fantastic. They do a great job. I don't know their coaches, but the Koreans are doing really well. And to my knowledge, Korea's never ever had drug positive.
Okay.
And of course, all the Chinese coaches they're getting better. They used to not do so well. They used to have a lot of missed attempts and critical missed attempts, take the wrong attempts in competition.
Due to coaching strategy.
Yeah, they were just going out there lifting weights and not competing.
Yeah.
But let's see, I'm leaving somebody else out there.
Were there any Russian coaches that you thought were?
David Rieger.
Okay.
He's an excellent coach. I've watched him. And Zygmunt Schmitz-part of Poland.
Poland, yeah. I think he's quit though the Polish camp after the Olympics.
I don't know, but I know he was not happy because he didn't have control over some of the attempts.
Yeah.
And so that's what was frustrating to him when if you said and the lifter didn't get the result because it was Dulega.
Duanga, yeah, Martin Duanga.
Yeah, he took the wrong attempts.
Yeah.
And I know that Schmalzers didn't want that because I could see that he was not happy with the attempts that were being selected. They were the wrong weights.
Okay. And from your point of view as a coach, in the rest of your weightlifting career, what would you like to achieve?
Well, I've had I'd like to have one more really good male or female Olympic level contender medalist. I'd like to have one more, maybe two, maybe. But it's such because I've had a whole slew. I've had 10 men that went to the Olympics, of which Mario Martinez got a silver medal, and that's such a thrill to be able to help somebody achieve their goal.
Yeah.
And I've had 5 women who become national champions, of which 3 went to world championships and 2 got medals. And so that they're the same. I mean, they want to be strong. They want to be a champion weightlifter. The exact same reasons that a man does. It's because it feels good.
And let's say you had a lifter walk in now, and you felt he had the level to be an elite, like an Olympic medalist. Is there any way you would coach him differently than the way you would have coached, let's say, 20 years ago for when you were coaching Batera or Martinez?
Well, yeah, yes, I would, of course, I use all the things that worked and all the things that didn't work. And, so I would try not to make some of the mistakes that were made. And, but these are mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes is overtraining. That's the hardest thing is to prepare somebody just right, not overtrain them.
Do you reckon it's overtraining or under recovery?
Well, that's a good point because they're tied together.
Okay.
So I would think I would try to do better at that. And one of the things what lifters get impatient with me because I won't let them go maximum all the time because I want them to do it maximum when it really counts.
I understand it.
And so in the past, I think I look back on some of the things I did with Mario and a guy by the name of John Bergman. I've made a lot of mistakes with. I just held them back a little differently, and but that's hindsight's always perfect. But anyway, so yeah, it's. The maximum recovery, because of these guys always had to go to either work full time or go to school full time. So, we didn't have the recovery possibilities of a masseur all the time.
Yeah.
Taking a hot bath, hot tubs, and saunas and things like that. We don't have the luxuries of those things that would enhance your recovery. So speed it up.
And just for the last question on your weightlifting experience, what do you think for you personally, individually, is the most important trait that a weightlifting coach needs?
He needs to be objective and not get caught up in, let's say, the wishful weightlifting. Because see, I hear people tell me, "Oh man, he just missed. We made this for a double." And I said, "I mean, 2 in a row." Well, not quite in a row. And
I said the same thing on Wednesday.
Yeah, and so I hear all these. I was at in training sessions, and I'll see somebody like a total miss with a certain weight, and somebody will say, "Oh, it was close." No, it wasn't close. And don't let the person think it was close. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
So you have to be objective. You have to be honest.
Okay.
And so over the years, there was I'll close with this one, and the group from San Jose was really, really strong. Those boys were strong, but they bombed a lot because they were wishful weightlifters.
Yeah.
And they thought and so their motto was, "We may bomb a lot, but we bomb big."
All right, we'll leave it there just for that first part.